What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chaos and Company. Today, we're going to be talking about anime, which is the whole entire reason why we ended up making this a thing. But we haven't even posted one single anime episode. Um, Anime we'll end up talking about today would be Blue Exorcist. Honestly, I ended up watching the anime when it first got released. I don't remember when it was, but I know it's been a while since it got released. And I just ended up finishing season two, which I ended up loving. However, I actually ended up getting into discussion with Scott because he started reading the manga. Because what was it? You ended up hearing that the manga was a lot better, right?
Well, no, I'm just kind of at the point in my life where it's easier for me to read manga instead of sit down and watch an entire anime. And I have the Shonen Jump app, so I have access to quite a lot of the Shonen Jump mangas. And I was just going down the list, and that's where I was at. I just heard it was a good series, so that's why I read it. But as I was reading it, I came across a lot of people talking about how the manga was very different and much better than the anime.
Right. And I mean, honestly, it might have a point, especially since I ended up actually watching season two finally. And dude, it's so much different, bro. It's so much different. I'm sure you won't like really I don't know. I guess you might not understand, right? Just because you've just seen the manga, right? But then like if I'm like comparing season 1 to like season 2, dude, it's like the characters, their personalities and stuff like that like are shown a lot more, right? And and just how like they interact with one another. Like in season 1 it definitely was still there, but like after the whole entire like camping, series where Rin ended up basically fighting a Maimon. After that, I'm pretty sure that's where kind of split off from the manga, just because it kind of started to feel a little bit off. Don't get me wrong, I still ended up enjoying like the rest of it, right? Where it was more of like, and spoiler alerts, um, basically them seeing like their past and stuff like that, and end up like actually fighting Satan, right? Um, it was really cool thing to see, but at the same time, you like everybody else that wasn't basically Rin or Yukio, like really fell off like super quick. Um, but in season two, like you honestly get to see basically everybody, and like they all really work well together, you know. I definitely did ended up enjoying a lot more on how everybody became trusting of Rin in season two than season one. Season one, it was more with Kanakawa. Am I saying that right?
You're talking about the kid with glasses, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'd have to. I don't remember exactly how his name was spelled, so
Okay, I think it's Kanakawa. Kanakawa. I think that's his name. Sorry, I'm really bad with names. But basically in season one, it was basically after like he ended up accepting a demon and like went after Rin, and Rin was like able to like help him out and stuff like that, and they kind of started becoming less scared of him. But in season two, it was more of like it was more because of his character, right? And like it showed like I don't know, it showed more about like their friendship, you know? Like I don't know how to explain that like more than just that, you know? But no, it's an anime honestly I really really have enjoyed, and I actually have even shown it to multiple people, and they've also ended up enjoying it as well.
I think
Um,
you recommended it to me in high school. So
yeah, again, I recommended this like to multiple people. I ended up watching it when it first came out. I was like, dude, this shit's so fucking good. I gotta say, best waifu, just saying, it's in this anime. Just saying, don't argue, don't at me, you know.
This guy.
Can't change my mind. Shura is just absolutely best waifu. Can't argue. But
Just really quick because I did look it up to
uh
touch on what you were talking about. The manga came out in 2009 and the anime came out in 2011. So there really wasn't that much time between the
between them,
start of the manga and the anime adaptation. I mean, so it might very well maybe the that point in the forest was as far as the manga had gotten at that point, and that's why it the anime took a turn at
okay. I
that
mean,
point.
that would honestly make a lot of sense because, like, if we kind of like let me know if like kind of like whenever it starts going off of out of like off the anime where it starts splitting, right? But like episode 1 and 2 is basically in the like the church they ended up growing up, right? Yukio was, heading towards school, and then, that whole entire thing, again, spoiler alert, with Shiro, and Rin ended up happening, right? Um and then after that, basically he wants to become an exorcist because Satan, what Satan ended up doing. Um so then he ends up going to the academy. That's where they end up introducing also Mephisto, right? So far same page, right?
Yeah.
All right. So then 3 is basically, I think it's where they go and they end up meeting Shiami. Shiami, am I saying that right? I feel like I'm saying these names so wrong, bro. You know who I'm talking about, though, right?
I who
The
is it?
the girl that was in the garden, that was basically
Oh
being
yeah,
possessed by the
yeah.
plant.
That
Yeah,
becomes Rin's like somewhat love interest.
yeah. So Shiami, um, they end up finding out that in this garden, there's a demon, that's basically like making her not be able to like use her legs, right? So she hasn't
Right.
been able to walk for a while. And then from that, they basically go into the giant squid. Are we still on the same page here?
No, not at all.
Oh, really? So
Yeah,
after the garden, what happens?
after the garden, it's just like classes. Like there's a long where he meets like all of his classmates. He starts going to classes and they go on in like a couple missions, like beginner missions basically. Before the all the stuff in the forest. I don't remember there being anything like too major before the fight in the forest.
Okay. Um. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I messed that whole entire thing up. No, no, no. You're right. You're right. It's a bunch of classes. They're learning. Um. No, you're right. Yeah. No, it's a bunch of classes. They're learning about what kind of exorcists they want to become. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Because the squid is actually after they end up introducing Kuro, which honestly I love Kuro. Such a cute cat. If I ever own a cat again.
Right, yeah, because that's one of the missions they go on.
Yeah. No, no, you're right. I'm sorry. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, no, they're in classes. They're basically learning what type of exorcist they want to become.
Right.
So then it's they end up introducing Shima, which honestly, at first in season 2, I was like, dude, Shima is fucking cool. But then, like, bro, when he cowered, I was kind of like, oh, never mind, you're just a bitch. Like, I get
Yeah.
his point of view, right? But like, I was still like, you just kind of, left your friend that you've known since you were like so little, right? You basically grew up together.
Oh,
You guys had the same trauma together, and like, sorry, go ahead.
who'd you say?
Shima, am I saying that right?
He's the
The
one with the staff, right?
Yeah, 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 pink. Oh well, you're black
Well,
and white.
yeah.
Yeah, the one with the staff.
Okay.
Yeah, he ended up like abandoning Kamaru when they were in the when they're fighting the Rotten King. Um but basically, and then introducing him, Suguro, which I'm actually really interesting to like see how he ends up going, especially from like what he ended up getting at the end of Rotten King.
Vaughn?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm saying these names so
Mm.
wrong, huh?
Bro, I need to pull up like a character list to figure out who you're
Yeah, no,
talking
Vaughn.
about.
Um, then they ended up introducing eyebrows, which Rin
Okay,
always like calls her that. But that's
Candy. Okay, okay.
yeah.
Let's. Okay, so yeah, Shima. I just know Bon is Bon. I don't
Okay,
remember his actual name.
no worries. So was um God, Isuma, right? Was
Kamaki?
her, yeah, was her friend like an actual thing? It was an actual person in the anime, right?
Yeah,
In the
no,
manga.
the
Okay.
one where she started off as an exorcist and then she
And then she
decided it
decided to
wasn't
go,
for
yeah,
her.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so that was actually like a whole entire thing.
yeah,
So then they end up basically going into so then the squid thing was another event, right?
right.
Okay, and then the basically the camp, what ended up happening oh wait, I'm sorry, I skipped one thing, where they try to exorcise the ghost of the little kid in the
Amusement park?
amusement park. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
that's when my
I'm
girl
on.
gets introduced, and I fell madly in love.
That's when I'm on shows up for the first time, right?
Yeah,
If
yeah,
I
that's the
remember
first
correct.
time, and
Yeah,
he ends up taking like Rin's sword, and the blue flames come out.
right. Well, I don't even remember if they were described as being blue in the. Well, no, his flames are always blue specifically.
Yeah, because I think that's how like it's a given. Because apparently, from what I ended up seeing, there's multiple people that have like been like half human, half demon, right? But the reason why he's so like sought out and like people are so scared of him is because he is Satan's son, right?
Right.
So the blue flames are basically like a dead giveaway of
Well,
like,
yeah, that's an indicator of a relationship to Satan.
yeah. Um, and then after that was the camping trip where he ended up fighting a Maimon, and he ended up like basically losing control, right?
Right.
Now, in
And
sorry, go ahead.
oh no, it literally might be what you're about to ask.
No, I was gonna ask in the where they end up holding the meeting, right? Like, for Ren's, like, because they finally found out, oh, he's Saint's son, so they ended up holding the meeting at the Vatican, right? Um, was he hold in like an ice crystal, like was that his prison, or was he just free to like roam around in the manga?
He was just in a jail cell from what I remember.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Because in season one, it showed him in like this like ice like prison thing. Like it was kind of like a diamond, and like he was just in prison in there. And it looked
Yeah.
like it was just like he was like just frozen in time basically, because when he came to, he didn't remember much of like how he got there or anything like that.
Yeah, from what I remember, he just kind of, I think he got like knocked out or something and then thrown in a prison cell and he just wakes up in a prison cell and I think um Shura was there when he woke up, like outside the cell, if I remember correctly. I don't. It was probably like 4 months ago that I read that part, so
The best girl in the whole entire anime universe. Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely remember that. But
fucking yeah.
after that, right? What happens after that in the manga? Do they
I
go
think
That's where the Rotten King starts, or
yeah, I think that's for the king the Rock King arc.
okay. So I that's basically where it ends up like splitting then. Cuz from there it kind of goes towards like it kind of goes towards God, I'm trying to remember. He's like basically trying to control his flames by lighting the candles, but they're still at school. Um, and then, like I said,
Well, I think, yeah, I think there was a period of time where they just went back to school and there was more like school stuff or nothing major happened. Because I think that's also around the time the whole candle thing was introduced for him to try and learn how to, really control his flame.
yeah, okay. But did that whole entire thing with Konokomaru ended up happening? Like where he basically was so scared of Rin that he ended up letting a
No,
crow demon possess him, or no?
no, not at all.
No, that didn't. Okay, so
Not,
that
not
ended up
from what I
happening, and
remember.
I think that was like a little bit later on. I think it might have been like one or two episodes afterwards, and then they ended up having Kamiki's birthday, but then they were like, "Oh, we missed everybody's birthday, so let's just celebrate it together." Um,
Yeah, I think I remember them doing that. Maybe.
did they? Okay.
Think so.
Um, and then right after that, it kind of started going towards like finding out like Rin's past, finding out about their mom, and then like Satan, on why Satan is like. So here's something that happens in the anime that I'm 100% sure that it doesn't happen in the manga based on what happened in season 2. But I don't know if it happened in, okay, I don't know if this part happened in the manga, but do you remember ever seeing the Blue Knight in the manga, like in the very very beginning?
Blue Knight?
Yeah, where
Does
they
not
were
sound.
like doing like a ritual type thing, and like
Oh, the
everybody's,
event.
yeah, the event.
Well, it's referred to a lot, but it's really, you don't really find out much about it or a lot about it until like way later on in the series, where I think past the point that even season two is at in the
So
anime.
you never get to see like God, I don't even know how to describe this man. But like he basically has like a mask, right? Like that covers his eyes, and he has like a one of those glasses that's just for one eye. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, monocle.
Yeah, so he has that monocle, and I guess he's like one of the high priest. And during that blue night, he's there. Um, is that like ringing any bells? You seen that guy at all?
Well, I remember there being, high-ranking members from around the world that were involved. I don't remember someone specifically with like a mask and a monocle though.
Okay. Um, look, I might have to send you. I might
A
have to.
picture.
Yeah, I might have to send you a picture. Well, actually, no. He didn't have a mask. I'm sorry. He in the where it happened in the where it happened in the Blue Knight on in the anime. He just had a monocle, and then like he was wearing like a robe and stuff like that. He was like basically a high priest, and then when everything started happening, where everybody started getting burned, um, he basically like they try to protect them, but then like you see him go out in flames, and you think, oh, he ended up turning into ash like everybody else did.
Maybe. Why though? Why do you ask?
Okay, so the reason why I'm asking, right, is because he actually ends up playing a very important part in the second, basically the second, I would say, part of this whole entire thing, right? Um, so I'm 100% sure this doesn't happen in the anime, right? But basically, it turns out that he's alive. He ended up surviving that, Blue Knight, but he ended up having a lot of like severe like burns, right? He overthrows everybody in the Vatican, right? And then he makes Yukio the paladin, right? And
Yeah,
the reason,
this definitely happened. That
yeah,
definitely happened.
and the reason why he made Yukio the paladin is because apparently this dude is his grandfather.
Yeah, no, that definitely didn't happen.
Yeah, so like they basically make him a paladin. He overthrows everybody. He becomes like, the head of everything, and he's basically going to, in lack of better words, nuke God, what's that place? Gehenna.
Gehenna?
Yeah, Gehenna. So he is basically planning. So their whole entire operation, right, is that they ended up making these weapons to collect blood from demons, right? And you know how in like the whole entire thing, like not all demons are like a threat, right? And some of them
Right,
even help them out, exercise other demons, right?
right,
But no, they basically go on like a whole entire purge where they're just killing everything, like every single one of them. And basically, the weapons that they're using collect the blood from these demons, and then they were gonna end up sacrificing Rin, right? But then they end up, Yukio realizes, oh, this is not what I wanted, right? I thought we were helping Rin. I didn't think we were gonna sacrifice him. So, instead of you killing him, I will end up, being put in his place. And they say no, like, he's, you don't have any like demon blood on you. And, he ends up saying, I do actually. And they basically open up the gate of Gehenna. They drop this thing that they think, oh, this is going to end up, like eradicating the whole entire place. Backfires, let Satan now. And, they basically end up having to fight Satan now, right?
okay.
So that's basically season one. That's basically season one, which I'm 100% sure that didn't happen, right?
No, that did not happen.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because when I saw season two, I was like, okay, there's like no mention of everything. And it does go back to like where it got left out, like it goes back like right there. So, like, if you're ever watching it, I guess I would say, like, maybe
You
watch
just
it until, like, the after the trial, and then after that just go straight to season two, because anything after that I don't think is canon, right? I would assume not.
yeah, as far as I am aware.
I'm assuming it's not, and I'm pretty sure the reason why they had to do that way was because, like, it was on like episode 16, I think, or 17, where like the basically the that camp trial thing.
Right,
Yeah, it was in like 16. So I think they were just more of like, oh, we can't leave it like this, like, but there's no more chapters, right?
right,
So let's just make it to episode 24. Or I think it's 25 episodes, whatever it is, right? But I feel like
right,
they couldn't leave it at like a 16 episode type of thing, right? Because they
right. They
always
just
like,
needed to fill it with something.
yeah, because they always try to tie it up, right? Like either 24 or 25 episodes.
Right.
Or has there been an anime that's like 16 episodes long?
I'm sure there is, but the majority of it, if you're going past 12, you're going into the mid 20s.
Okay. But yeah, no, that was basically season one, bro.
Yeah,
uh,
that's definitely not the same as the manga.
so what happens in the manga then?
It's just the King of Rot arc starts, and then you get that the squid thing after that, where they're coming home from Kyoto, and on the way home they get assigned that mission to go deal with that giant squid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I wonder how they ended up getting that giant squid thing then. if it's after Kyoto, because they ended up putting that like in the very very beginning. Who goes, by the way? Who's assigned to that mission?
All of them, literally all of them that went to Kyoto, they're like, oh, since you guys are basically here already, we're gonna go take care of this right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Because in the anime, the ones that get assigned to but it's not like a an assigned mission of like, oh, there's a giant squid, we need you to take care of it, right? It's basically Rin, no, Kamiki. Rin, Kamiki, and Shima end up basically getting assigned to help one of the professors with their squid selling business, right? You know how Rin is like extremely good at cooking, right? So
Yeah.
like he's, trying to sell the squid and stuff like that, and then it's kind of told that, oh, they see that the sea is basically turning black, right? Because of the ink from the squid. And they basically end up like figuring out that, oh, there's this kid, I forget his name, bro. I'm blanking out on this kid's name. Um Yohei, I think. Yohei, is that ringing a bell at all? Was there a kid named Yohei in the manga at all, or no?
That sounds familiar, but I don't know if it's specific to Blue Exorcist that it sounds familiar.
So apparently this kid ended up losing his father because he went after the giant squid, but like the kid is like
Oh, that definitely, there's definitely nothing like that.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. And basically like he's like, no, my father's alive, like this and that, right? And it's like if I see that squid, I'm gonna kill him and this like that and things like that. But like he's also like a airhead. Well, I'm sorry, not an airhead, but he's extremely bad with like directions where he gets lost very, very easily. And the giant squid basically ends up showing up. uh Rin can't still use his powers because nobody knows that he's the son of Saiyan yet. um but then it turns out that the giant squid literally just came to uh bring the kid's father home, and like he wasn't even threatening anything, he wasn't trying to destroy anything, he was just bringing the father home because the father ended up losing, he couldn't find his way back home, and so the giant squid literally just brought him home and then just left.
That definitely didn't happen. It was
No.
literally just, hey, there's a giant squid off this coast. You guys are all here already. You should be able to handle it.
Oh, really? Do they end up
Yeah.
killing it?
Yeah, they end up like going out to this island because they hear that there's some like local legend of like a sea lord, and they're like, oh, it's probably like an old demon deity, so let's let's go see what it does because it's supposed to be like in charge of the waters around here. And they find out that it's like old, but it like tells them it'll still help out, and with its help, they're able to kill a giant squid.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, no, that's definitely different. So, what is it that you end up liking about Blue Exorcist? Well, let me ask you, do you like Blue Exorcist? Let's start there.
I'm pretty like it feels like it's not bad, but I wouldn't say it's like good. Not okay.
Okay.
It's not that I wouldn't say it's good. It's just like I don't know. This like those kinds of like shonen animes just kind of fill a fill a void for me. I guess I don't know. I
What do
don't
you
know what I'm
mean by
trying to
that?
say. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like they're just like popcorn, like people talk about like popcorn movies. Like a lot of them are just like popcorn reads for me, where like I don't expect them to have like the deepest of stories or all that. So
Mhm.
I mean, it was definitely good, like comparatively to like some of the other like shonens I've read. So
Ooh, shit, like what? Throw shade.
um, definitely Chainsaw Man.
Ooh,
I'd
damn.
say
Oh,
even
shit.
JJK, dude. I'm not like the
Damn.
biggest fan
Ooh.
of
Well,
JJK.
I am blocking comments from this video for sure. Why? Why don't okay, what is it? Like what is it that you don't like, Cuz I've seen the shit you like. So I'm curious,
What don't I like about those?
Well, what? Okay, okay, let's yeah, let's go down this road. Why don't you like? What is it that you don't like about them?
Well, I think just in general, we've had this conversation before. I feel like shonens in general are just so dragged out and so predictable for the most part, you know?
I can see
Like
that. I can see
even the
that.
newer ones, reading the mangas, I don't know. And then like with Chainsaw Man and like AOT, like I like dark fantasy, but because I like it so much, I'm also highly critical of it. So like there's certain like series where I feel like it just comes across as like with dark fantasy and like just darker themes in general, I feel like if they're not done right, they just come across as cringy and try hard. And I kind of get those vibes from AOT and Chainsaw Man. That's why I've never been the biggest of fan of either of them. And then with like JJK, like it started out good, but like where I'm at in like the manga, so I'm like up to date on the manga, and it's just been dragging along for so long, and there's so many like random characters that they introduce that I'm just kind of like, who are you again? Like I don't even remember who you are at this point. Like this has been dragging on for so long.
Okay, I mean, I can see that. I can definitely see that, shonens can definitely be dragged out. I mean, look at One Piece, right? Biggest example you can possibly give for that. But for me, it's, I don't know. Even though I know what I'm getting into, right? And I do feel like they're predictable because you know the guy is gonna end up still, winning, right? No matter what. But they
Right.
will end up throwing you some curveballs from time to time. They will end up throwing you some death that you were never really expecting, right? Um, which I don't know. It kind of I don't know how to explain this, but for me, it's more of like one when it comes to animation, they if done well, it can definitely be a very like thrilling show. If done well. Because trust me, I've seen some animes where I'm like, dude, this, I love the characters, the storyline, it got me hooked, but boy, is the animation fucking absolutely hot garbage. Seven Deadliest Sins, just absolute trash, dude. Where it's just like, I look, I know animating is it can definitely be very very hard. I'm not ever gonna end up knocking somebody for it, right? Um, but sometimes it can definitely be done right, and sometimes I do understand that it's the studio, right? Like for example, I did end up saying, Seven Deadly Sins, seven, seven deadly sins, right? And I do understand that their budget basically got cut so much for just like a movie that they were gonna end up doing, and even though like I get it, right? You're trying to put all your money into like this movie, but at the same time, it's like it just ends up leaving just a horrible taste where like you're basically going into a fight where you're just like super hyped, right? You're just extremely hyped. You're like, oh my God, there's gonna be just absolutely two titans going at it. And then it's just like a huge letdown because on how it was animated, how it was executed. But
Right.
then at the same time, you have the other end where it's just like, dude, this shit is just so fucking good. I know a lot of people end up hating on Demon Slayer, right? Everybody says that, oh, the story is like, basic and the only thing that holds it is animation. But at the same time, you can end up saying the same thing about, the other way around, right? Um, there's been a lot of animes where they're like, oh no, trust me, like the story's good. It's just like, the animes, it's just bad. But it's like, you can end up getting like, basically the same side. I don't know how to say this, but it goes both ways, right? It goes both
Right.
ways. Where the
Right.
animation can definitely end up killing an anime, or the animation can definitely bring up an anime a lot more, right? And I get it. Some people will end up feeling will end up feeling like, they got cheated because their favorite anime now it's kind of not, up there because the animation just wasn't there, right?
Right.
Which is understandable. But for me, when it comes to shonen, it's just, I don't know. It's more of like the thrill, right? The basically the excitement, um, how their friendships are basically created, and if like at one point, dude, like don't get me wrong, look, I'm gonna talk about Naruto for a little bit, okay? When Jiraiya died, dude, I knew he was gonna die. I
Whoa,
fucking knew going
spoilers,
in there.
dude. Oh
If you haven't
my
watched
god,
Naruto by
you
now,
ruined it for me.
if you haven't watched Naruto by now,
I
I don't
never
know
would
what
have
to tell
known
you.
that, dude. Oh my god.
But dude, I knew going in he was gonna die, right? Because the anime has been out for like years, right? When I ended up watching it, um, and it still fucking had a huge impact on me, bro. When I saw my boy just dying, but then at the same time, when I ended up seeing Pain and Naruto fight, like that was one of my favorite fights from the whole entire show. And I know there's others that could definitely end up being better than that, but I don't know. For me, like that whole entire thing, I was like, dude, that like it amplified it, and it's just basically that is like it's yeah, for me it's just a thrill, right? Yeah, I know, okay, the main character's more than likely never gonna fucking die, right? Even though they make it seem like they will, or oh no, he's about to lose, but
Oh
I'm not
no.
used to fucking power of friendship out of
He's
nowhere.
on his knees. Oh god, we're going into a 20-minute flashback and
You
oh
know,
no.
fucking fairy tale right here, right? Using the power of friendship throughout the whole entire fucking thing. Still fucking loved it though. I still was fucking hype when I ended up seeing Natsu get up and fucking just absolutely knock the dude out, right? It can also be said that it's just like, that the fights are very are done very quickly, like the guy beats on the protagonist for fucking, 20 something episodes. Obviously I'm exaggerating, but then, he ends up killing the dude in one blow, right? But I don't know. For me, it's more of a thrill. The stories can definitely have like a big impact, right? Just the fighting in general for me, it's like, damn, dude, this shit like goes hard, right? Like JJK, so far, every single fucking fight, bro. I'm at the edge of my seat, right? Same thing with Demon
Well,
Slayer, bro.
you don't get that same like edge of at least for me, I don't get that same edge of my seat experience when I'm reading a lot of things, right? Because it's not like you're looking at frames or panels, right?
Right, right. Which I understand it. You're basically going in through with a different perspective. And you also got to think about it. Sometimes with, the anime, they could also potentially end up cutting a lot of things where they feel like, oh, it's being dragged out. They'll end up cutting it.
I can
Um,
tell you from everything that I've seen, at least in the realm of shonen, they end up dragging it out way more.
I mean, it all has to do with money too.
There's only one series I can think of. Two. I can think of two series that they started cutting things out. One of them was the reason they started cutting was for money, and the other one was because the author hated that portion of the series. One of the arcs in the Rising of the Shield Hero was cut down significantly in the anime. Like it was like two or
Oh, yeah,
three
you told me
books.
about that.
Yeah, it was like two or three books worth of content. And I guess the author just kind of was like, I literally hate this. This is the worst thing I've ever written. Like, we're making this. Like, it was still a very important plot point for the series, so they couldn't get rid of it entirely. But he's like, we're making this like 6 episodes.
But
Like,
didn't that backfire though? Didn't people like not like it because like
yeah,
it just
I
felt
mean,
super empty?
well, yeah, but that was the thing. It felt like that in the original in the books too. So it wasn't really like they weren't able to save it and make it a a good thing, but it's like they still needed to have it in order for the story to make sense. So they didn't really have a choice, but because they still kept it at all, they did, a lot of people that had never read the series were very like they dropped it because of that.
Okay. Okay, that makes
So,
sense.
and then obviously we've talked about this before, but SAO, like the first two seasons are
Oh, I'm sorry.
extremely washed.
Sorry, go
The
ahead.
we've talked the first two seasons were extremely rushed
Yeah, again,
to make
that's money.
money.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
money.
exactly.
That's with a lot
But
of anime too, though. Like, unfortunately, you're gonna end up getting that, like, with a lot of
right.
it.
Well, and that's also part of the reason why I've just gone to reading source material is generally authors, even if they're making tons of money, aren't pushing out like terrible content just to make the money, right? More so than animation studios pushing out, just garbage after garbage if it's making them money.
Right. And I gotta say, dude, there's been just a couple of animes that I've watched where I'm like, dude, I need to know what the fuck happens now, and I can't
Right.
wait. And I basically go for like the source material. And the first one that I ever ended up doing that for was Dead Man Wonderland.
Yeah, but you don't really have a choice. It's like if you want to know for that one, you have to go
But
read,
see, I didn't know that until I ended up reading it. And I thought, because when I watched it again, it was something that just had come out. So I thought, oh, season two for sure is just going to be around like the corner, maybe a year or two, and then I can continue it, right? But then once you
right.
start reading, you start realizing, holy shit, they ended up changing a lot. And they changed a lot like very, very quickly. Like it wasn't
Right.
like, oh, they changed it, like a couple chapters. No, it was like literally like I think it was like in what, two chapters in, they ended up changing like a lot of things already.
Yeah. I haven't watched it since like high school, which
Well, I know one thing that they ended up doing, which wouldn't have made sense, is that they ended up erasing one character completely, but it plays like a bigger role later on in the manga. You know who I'm talking about, right?
not off the top of my head. No, it's
The
been like 2 years
first.
since I read it, and
Okay.
then even longer since I watched it.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that character plays a bigger role in the manga, if I'm remembering correctly. But they ended up cutting them. Like they don't even exist in the anime at all, or have ever been mentioned. But yeah, that was the very first one. The second one was honestly really recently.
Wasn't it Tokyo Revengers?
No, I haven't
No.
read Tokyo. Dude, I gotta watch season two, but I haven't heard too many good things about
I
season
haven't
two.
heard anything about season two. I know I
Well,
talked to so many people that were hype off of season one and then just haven't heard anything about season two.
season two you can only get it on Hulu. You can't get it
Oh,
off of, yeah, it's not on Crunchyroll. And because I thought it was gonna come out, and I'm like, dude, why am I not seeing it on Crunchyroll, right? And then
yeah.
I was like, dude, I'm pretty sure like season two should have been out by now. I thought it was gonna come out like somewhere in May, right? And I was like, why haven't I seen it? But apparently Hulu picked it up, and that's the only place you can end up getting it, at least here in the U.S. And I haven't heard much good things about it. I think it's only 12 episodes, if I remember correctly. I still have to, watch it, but I'm kind of too lazy to get Hulu at the moment.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
mean, just to kind of circle back though to what I was saying about shonens, like
uh-huh.
it's not so much about it's just how drawn. I feel like they're just so much more drawn out, and I think for me too, what it does, I can be like I don't know, I'm like a super impatient patient person because like in most things, I'm like relatively patient. Like I have an extreme level of patience, but then when it comes to like books and movies and series and stuff like that, it's like I get drawn into these stories, I get attached to these characters, and then it's like I want things to happen and like, oh, we're on, chapter 12 of the same flashback in the middle of the most one of the most important fights in the series, and I'm just like I get annoyed, and then I'm annoyed for the rest of my time reading it, and then they do it multiple times, and it's just like that whole dragging thing out and how they do it. I just don't like it because even in the mangas, a lot of times I feel like things are dragged out longer than they need to be. Not to the same extent as the animes, definitely, but I still feel like a lot of times they are dragged out. Whereas, my main series in terms of like that, what I would say is comparable to like shonen is going to be fantasy, and I feel like most fantasy isn't drawn out to the same extent that shonen is.
I mean, that makes sense. I do understand that point of view from you. Um, I can't relate really just because I literally grew up with shonen, right? I watched Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball C, Dragon Ball GT. I've watched Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Digimon. Um, God, what else did I watch? I ended up watching Naruto when it was coming out. And I mean, I watched a little bit of Naruto with you, and you couldn't even get to the tuning exams. And I think we
Oh,
were in like,
yeah, because it was like we're like 6 episodes of the same thing, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
yeah. So like I like basically, ended up growing up with like all of these shows that would end up dragging out for a long time. And I mean, a lot of the time it had to do with like, like just the manga, just the anime ended up going faster than the manga, so they just had to drag it out.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is I feel like since shonen for the most part is so popular, there's that want to just start making an anime as soon as possible to make money as soon as possible. And then that's why you end up with so much filler content, is they're just pumping out the anime as fast as possible to try and make as much money as possible. And they just outpace the source material really quickly.
Right. But I don't know. Even look, I know people give a lot of shit to Naruto for being, 80% filler. Again, exaggerating, but I think it might be like around 70, right? Like if we're talking real numbers, 70, 60.
I don't remember. I know we did the math at some point.
It's something up there. I know it's more than half for sure of like fillers, but even so, you kind of still get to like, I don't know, experience the characters a little bit more, see them in like different lights, right? And I know some people might not like it, and some people might not like the filler, but like if you end up liking the characters, not Sakura, but like if you end up liking the characters, like it's really good to see them in like different lights, get to see them in like different perspectives, or get to basically like see them. I don't know how to explain it. I'm like, what I'm trying to say, right? Like just get to see them in a different way, right? But still being the
Yeah,
same character without losing, like their personality.
right. And I get that because I definitely like that too. But again, it's like I don't want 20 episodes of a flashback in the middle of an important fight. Like that's not where I want to see it. Like if you want to just show this to me outside of this important story moment, like that's fine, but like don't show it to me during the middle of this important story moment. You know what I mean?
If you don't have 20 episodes of flashback knowing why he's getting his powers from friendship, then what is the point, Scott? What is
I
the
don't know,
point?
dude. I don't have much, time is the only thing we have on this earth, and I value mine greatly. So, there's that.
Now I do gotta say, I've been saying like some animes here and there, and like it might have sounded like a bashing, right? Like I know I said that with Fairy Tale, but again, Scott can attest to this. Fairy Tale has been one of my favorite animes for a long time. I do understand that is not good. Please don't tell me anymore, okay? Um, I do understand that 100%. It will still end up being a big part of my life, and it will still end up being one of my favorite um, animes. It has definitely come down the list with newer ones coming in, and me, like expanding a little bit more. besides just shonen genre. Um, Also, to finish my train of thought before, it was Hell's Paradise, dude. Hell's Paradise. I have to read that. I literally already ordered the books. I'm just waiting for them, but I have to know how it ends, bro. The anime was so freaking good. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. I love that anime. But yeah, no, I ended up buying the books and now I'm just waiting for them. But a lot of these animes that I basically ended up like, saying Seven Deadly Sins again, I really, really ended up loving it. Not season two. I haven't seen season three because I was so disappointed with season two. I even recommended it to Scott. I was like, dude, you have to watch this. Like, you have to watch. It's so good. But then I'm glad he didn't because season two is so freaking bad, dude. Not like story wise. It's just animation is so bad, dude. Like that freaking God, Meliodas and Escanor fight. Oh, that was so painful to watch. That was, dude. I literally,
I haven't even seen the anime, but I've seen it.
I kid you not. I turned it off, bro. I turned it off. I was like, nah,
Bro, that
no.
fight, that one fight from Black Clover in like season two, I think, where like it just looks like they gave up halfway through and just started drawing lines on the screen. What else? Oh God, dude, Records of Ragnarok. I've seen all those fights there. It's just like literally like still images, like the fights just frames.
Just
And
frames,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And again, like it goes back to being like money. You're pumping these out as much as possible. I mean, as
yeah,
fast as possible, right? To bring in money, but at the same time, it does end up hurting, like the image, basically, And it's like if you
yeah.
would have taken a little bit more time, you could have ended up getting a lot more money than just pumping them out. I don't know if it'll end up changing anytime soon, right? I don't. But but yeah, no. And I mean, same thing with SAO, dude. I did not like
Yeah, see, dude, after
season
when I
two, bro.
like, I really like I will be the first person to admit the anime. Like, I like the series, I like the anime, but it is like objectively not a good anime. At least the first two seasons. I think the third and the fourth season are good. They're not like the best anime ever, but I love the series. I love the characters. But objectively, it's not good. Like, if I didn't like the characters so much, like, yeah, it's like high key garbage. But
Yeah.
uh, what am I trying to say here? Yeah, no, season two definitely was like super rushed to try and um
Yeah, because dude, it blew
make
up.
money.
Season one was fucking phenomenal. The first 12 episodes, bro, I was like, I need to get more of this. The next ones, the next following 12 episodes were also really great, right? Um,
Well, even the second half, like compare it. Well, I don't know. It's kind of hard too because like the way that it was written was weird and all that. So,
okay.
um, but regardless, yeah. And the thing is, for me, is my like all-time favorite anime character is Sinon, and from she gets introduced in season two of SAO, and like they really don't do her character justice. Like after reading the light novels, like they
Hmm.
don't do her character any justice whatsoever in the anime, and just in general, everything that happens in season two, they really don't do justice because they just pumped it out as quick as possible.
Can you go into detail, like just as an example? Because I
They
haven't read
just,
the like any of the mangas or anything like that.
I mean, have you even seen season two though?
I think I have a while back.
I will just setting up like her character and the whole situation that she's in and like everything that she's going through because that whole focal point was, I guess spoilers if you haven't seen something that's been out for like a decade.
I
Was
mean,
like,
you can't
that
really say that. I haven't watched a lot of things that have been out for a decade.
yeah, but I can't get around spoilers for things that released, 10 days ago. So because
Bro,
of the internet nowadays.
listen, I been trying to stay away with like JJK spoilers right now, dude.
But dude,
It's been
right now would
so
be
blowing out,
terrible,
dude.
dude. There's so like it's like high key popping off in the manga right now.
Dude,
So
I ended up
yeah,
there was there was one bro that fucking I was like I I couldn't be mad, right? I couldn't be mad because it was fucking low key funny. But oh god, what's her name? Maki, right? Maki's fighting the oh god, what's his name? The volcano guy. Do you know who I'm talking about?
yeah.
Okay. It basically ended up being that song of this girl's on fire and the dude fucking lights her on fire, and I was like, okay, I can't be mad, but I was like, all right, cool, thanks. Now I know they're fighting. Oh,
I think
spoiler alert.
that's I think that's in season two.
Yeah,
In
that's in
this,
season two.
yeah,
Yeah, and then the Shibuya arc. Is that-
yeah. I
Yeah.
was about to say, I'm pretty sure this is in the Shibuya arc,
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I literally left it on because
season one.
you know me. Like as soon as I start watching something and it gets so fucking good, if it gets, this is why I got so pissed at fucking Tokyo Revengers, bro, and how they fucking left it. I was like, dude, there's no way you just left it like that. There's no, there has to be more. But yet again, even though I was so mad, I haven't even seen season two, so I can't really say, you know. But I have to just watch the episode like just continuously.
Right.
But sorry, what were we talking about before I went on a tangent?
Uh, SAO. Yeah, no, just they didn't do like they didn't really give as much context and background to Sinon and like what she was going through and like who she was as a person. And honestly, and I think anyone I've told who was like, oh yeah, I really liked, you know. Usually, what I hear is that like the first, I think, what 15 episodes, 13 episodes, whatever the Aincrad arc of SAO is, however many episodes that is. Like, I really like that, but then like the second half of the second season were like not that great, and I'm like, okay, go watch the third and the fourth. Like they're really good, like they are objectively really good. But the thing is with the third season, they have to add so much exposition because there's just so much left out of seasons one and two because they were rushed through that they just have to add it. So like it can get really boring in season three just because they have to basically go back and fill in all that context that they left out. But I mean, in my opinion, I think even if you liked it at all, you will very much enjoy season four. And I still like season three, even with all the exposition. I think it has a really good ending. I think it has some pretty good fights in season three as well. But yeah, it's like they kind of like rushed through it. Season two, I don't think did anywhere near as well as season one. But I think that's why there was such a big gap between seasons two and seasons three. Um, but yeah, because I feel like that's like a more like triumphant story though, because I feel like in a lot of cases, if you pumped out and rushed this anime and it did poorly because you pumped it out and rushed it out and you didn't make as much money as you thought, you just kill it. Like that's it. Like it's done. Like you're never getting a season three. Where at least with this, it's like they did come back and give it a season three. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there has been quite a bit where like if it falls off, they just don't go back to it.
Right.
Yeah. Um,
Blue Exorcist.
but hey, now we know that Scott doesn't like anything good unless it's something like
What do you mean? You
DxD.
like a lot of the shows I like. You
Unless
love
it's
Overlord, dude. What?
DxD, unless it's something like that. If you know what that is, I'm ashamed of you. I have no idea what you're talking about. The 4 seasons,
Testament of
12
Sister
episodes.
New Testament of Sister New Devil,
Yikes!
Heaven's
Wow!
Lost Property.
Wow! Yikes! Yikes!
Oh, come on.
Yo!
You love
God
Heaven's Lost
dang!
Property. You love fucking
Okay, listen,
you love
listen.
School of
Hold on,
Dead.
hold on, hold
You
on, hold on, hold
love
on, hold
Prison
on.
School.
The reason why, dude, the fucking protagonist of that show is so fucking funny, dude. He
Which one? Heaven's
literally,
Lost
yeah,
Property?
dude, he literally has me cracking up every single episode.
Well, yeah, it's a fucking comedy, dude. Like I don't
But
like
like it doesn't come off of like on others, right? Like, sometimes like with DXD, like Issei will say something and I'm just kind of like,
no,
damn, bro, that
Issei
was
is
kind of
as much as I like
cringy, bro.
as much as I do like High School DxD, dude. Like he is cringy. I just like it for like the world
The
building in
plot,
terms of
the
like
plot, the plot,
all the like mythology and
the
theology
plot.
that's
It's
incorporated
okay,
into
buddy.
it.
We
So
know exactly why you like it. Don't try to add into it. It's the plot that keeps popping up every 5 freaking minutes, even in the middle of a fight. Yo, listen. Now that we're talking about this, dude, there's one anime I gotta say that I was so in love with, but I got so fucking annoyed with all the fan service, bro.
what?
Fire Force, dude. I
Oh
actually
yeah.
like Fire Force, but the amount of fan service, bro. It killed it for me. It literally did kill it for me.
One of my coworkers, he watches anime. He asks me suggestions now and again, but he's not like huge into it. But he really likes Fire Force, and he says the same thing.
Yeah, it's just the fan service. Like, okay, I did say, Fairy Tale, right? Fairy Tale does the same thing, but I don't know. I feel like the way they do it, it
The fa-
doesn't
but like fan service and like your normal shonens like Fairy Tail, Naruto, and all that is very different than the
come
kind
off
of
Fire
fan
Force.
service
Yeah,
Fire Force did.
yeah.
Because
Like,
Fire Force was really walking the line of like we're almost like we don't want to be an ecchi, but we're gonna push it as far as we can without
okay, yeah,
being an ecchi.
yeah. Like, dude, like, I did tell you there was an episode, bro. I forget the name. It was the main character and like one of the chicks. It's only one girl that like gets it though. God, hold on. I'm gonna have to look up the name here. So there's only one girl that gets it, bro, and that's Tamaki. Uh, she's literally the only one that like I don't know. They like extremely do it, bro. But like I remember there being an episode where I was like, okay, I gotta like just go do something, right? Because I was like, I like I couldn't continue the episode, right? And it was basically like it was Takamaki and Shinra, right, the main character, and like they're literally just sweeping like the front of the fire station, right? And then they like get stopped and they're like talking, and then out of nowhere, absolutely don't know how, but then like Takamaki is like on Shinra's head, like in
Yeah,
like a certain way,
yeah.
right?
You've complained about this specific scene to me
Yeah,
a
because that's
bunch.
literally the fucking one where I was like, okay, I can't continue this shit, dude. Like, I'm fucking over this, right? Because, like, even the characters, like, how did this happen? Like, oh, and I was just like, you fucking tell me, dude. You're literally like, fucking laws of physics is out the fucking door, I guess. But yeah, no, I couldn't continue it after that, bro. But it was so good for me. The fighting, the way they ended up like manipulating the sound, right? For like the explosions, the
Mm.
fire and all that, dude. It got you so into it. But again, the fucking fan service literally just I was just like, dude, why? Why, dude? But yeah, no, I really liked it, but it was just that, and like I don't know if there ever is a season 3. I don't know if there is or if it's
There
coming out.
is. I actually just looked it up the other day with my buddy at work because he was asking about it.
Oh, okay. If there is and they minimize it, bro, I will end up sitting down, putting up with season 2 and then watching season 3. The other thing that I ended up finding out like not too long ago, which I was like, holy shit, that's so cool, right? Is that apparently that's a prequel to Soul Eater, and dude,
Yeah.
Soul Eater was, oh man, dude, I love that fucking anime. That was one of my favorite animes as a kid, dude. When I watched it, I was like, dude, I think I tried to get you to watch it, right?
We watched one episode. Like,
Oh yeah, and you got weirded out because,
um,
and I told you, I was like, dude,
look at
yeah,
me now.
Yeah, you got weirded out because of the freaking the cat
Bathtub
witch. Yeah, the cat
scene.
witch, and you was like, no, no, bro, like this ain't for me. And fucking now, motherfucker knows every 6-digit number to ever exist.
I don't know about that. You don't need to lie to the people.
Okay. But yeah, no, bro. It's Blue Exorcist. Highly. I mean, I recommend it.
Yeah,
I
I'd
recommend it.
recommend it too. I mean,
Um.
even if I don't like something, I can still tell when most people like it. Like I know what's popular and I know what I like, so but I
Yeah.
definitely recommend it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I definitely would. Yeah. No, I recommend it. But watch it that way. Watch it until and then watch it until right after the campfire. I'm sorry, not the campfire, the camp trials. There's a specific name for it, but I'm blanking out on it. Um, Watch it right after that. I'm sorry, after that, watch season two, and then basically go on from there. If you want to watch all of season one, definitely more power to you. But for me, even when I watched it, it still felt off. It felt like something was missing, right? But either way, I was very curious to see how they were gonna do
Season two.
season two. Yeah, dude, another show that I fucking loved as a kid, Juju Hashiko. No,
Yu Yu
Juju.
Hakusho?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I was saying it right. Okay, yeah, yeah, dude. I
Spirit
fucking
the Spirit Bomb,
yeah,
dude.
dude. Fucking that shit. Oh man, that got me so fucking pumped up, dude. But
I've seen some wild clips from that show.
dude, it's old anime, bro. Like I
Yeah,
don't know what
it's
you
like
can
all the
expect,
animes,
dude.
bro. All
It's
the anime is
fucking wild, dude.
wild, dude.
Look at fucking Dragon Ball, bro.
Bro,
If you know what I'm talking about,
yeah.
Dragon Ball, Master Roshi Bulma. That's all I can say.
Well,
That's all I can fucking say.
Goku and Bulma too, right?
Yeah, also Goku and Bulma, dude. That's all I can say. Goku and Bulma. I think it was like I don't know if it was the very first episode. I do know there
Fucking
was a piloted episode where both, I think both things happened. Don't quote me on that. But I do know the first with Goku and Bulma happened on the pilot episode. I think both things might have happened actually. Again, don't quote me on that. I watched this shit a long time ago. But yeah, Goku and Bulma and Master Roshi and Bulma, bro.
I know when I watched Akira was pretty wild too.
I don't think I ever watched that.
Granted, Akira was rated R, but still there was some things in there I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, no, I never watched Akira.
I just had to watch it because of the iconic slide, the Akira slide that's been in like literally everything ever now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about, but again, I haven't watched it. But yeah, no, dude, old anime was fucking wild. They got away with a couple things here and there.
Well, we've had that. I mean, I don't even know if you can include this in here, but like why like anime, like how anime in the US like kind of came to be, and like why there's so many preconceived notions that a lot of people have about it because of how it was introduced here and all that.
I mean, we can if you wanna just end it with this. You can. You can just kind of like say it on like, like just fill in
Yeah,
the
so I mean, I don't this might not be 100% correct. Basically what somebody had like posted this on r/anime like it's probably been a couple years now, but I remember reading it. I don't know if they just wrote this essay just to write or if it was for school or something, if they're doing it as a paper or something, but they were talking about its introduction and how like when it was introduced to the US, what they were choosing was these companies that were bringing over the adult, stuff that was more meant for adults, and it was like extremely violent, extremely risque. Like a lot of them had sex scenes and excessive nudity in them and all this other stuff. And at this time, this was back in like I believe the 70s and 80s. And at the time, video rental stores were the place to go because while owning like a VCR was something that was affordable to most families, the VCR tapes themselves were extremely expensive. So that's why video rental stores were so big. Is these people couldn't afford to own their own VHSs, but everybody had a VCR. And these video rental stores would get these in, and they'd end up in one of two places. Either they'd see that they had nudity and sex in them, and they'd end up putting them in the 18 plus section, so people associated it with 18 plus content. Or the worst case scenario that happened quite a bit is they would see that it was animated, just assumed it was like a Disney movie from Japan, and they throw it in the kids section. And you can find like there's this outcry at the time because you had all these families where like mom or dad on the way home from work would stop by the video store to grab something for the kids, and oh, we got this new Japanese kids movie that just came in, and mom or dad grabs it and comes home, pops it in for the kids, goes to make dinner. They come out 30 minutes later and it's like the most like super graphic, violence or sex scene they've ever seen in their lives. And it caused them to freak out. And because of that, there was a lot of preconceived notions, maybe not in our generation, but like our parents' generation, about anime, because growing up, it was just like, oh, well, that's that like super violent or like, sex thing because of all that was going on and how the news, talked about it and all that. Which I don't, you don't really see, at least I don't, and I imagine you two would say the same, but I don't really, like, I remember being littler and hearing that about anime, but like nowadays, I don't think you'd ever hear those like preconceived notions about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I never ended up actually hearing any of that. Honestly, when I was little, again, like I said, dude, I ended up look, I don't even know how to say this, but like I ended up watching fucking Dragon Ball when I was 4, bro. So like, I can't really say anything of that sort. Um, and dude, I just remember like being a kid, right? Being like, I knew when my shows were coming on. I knew when they
Right.
were gonna end up being on, and as soon as I still remember this to this day, because it was something I would do like religiously, right? I would get off out of school, get on the bus, go home. Again, I'm 4 or 5 years old at this point. As soon as I got home, I would end up doing my homework, right? Because my grandma would make me do my homework. I would do my homework, try to finish it as quickly as possible, and then be in front of the TV by 4. Because at 4, Pokemon would come on. Then it would end up being Yu Gi Oh! A show that I used to watch called Cubics. I think it was a Korean show.
Yeah, we've talked about that one before.
And then it would end up either being Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. I ended up watching all the way up to Dragon Ball GT. Um, I watched first Dragon Ball, then Dragon Ball Z, then Dragon Ball GT. Um, but yeah, no, that's literally what I would end up doing. I would just, those are the shows I would watch. I know it's a huge difference, right? Going from freaking Pokemon to I even ended up watching Digimon as a kid too.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to, but I watched Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and Beyblade, and a couple other of those
Oh,
like
dude,
kids
Beyblade.
anime.
Dude, I used to love Beyblade, bro.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have like, cause I grew up in El Salvador, but we would
Right.
have like the over there's a wooden like spin. I don't know what it's called, right? But you would end up just like doing it, and you can do like a whole bunch of like cool tricks, but it's a wooden one, right? And at the
Okay.
bottom, I think it's like a metal like pin. And I would just pretend like it was a Beyblade, bro. It wouldn't like actually be like a Beyblade, but these
Right.
things would spin for fucking ever, dude. These
Yeah.
things would spin, bro.
Bro, the kids these days don't even know, dude, because the Beyblades they make nowadays aren't even metal, dude. They're
Oh, they're
plastic.
not metal?
No, dude, they're not metal
What?
anymore.
No. Are you serious?
I swear to
Bro.
God, dude.
So they're just plastic.
They're just plastic,
Oh, so
dude.
they don't make the cool ting
No,
ting.
not really.
Dude, that shit sucks. I'm
Something about
sorry.
kids like losing eyes and getting hurt. I don't know.
Wow.
You know.
I don't
You
know if
know.
you, I'm not gonna go there. Anyways, how I want to leave you is Scott was the kid with a cape running down the halls and doing the Naruto run. Have a good night.
Definitely not.